Hey everyone, this is Hunter Foster. I'm the artistic director for the Red House Art Center in Syracuse, and I'm actually coming to you live from New York City. That's right, I'm back home in New York City. So if you can see that we're in front of my closet door and not in front of the blue screen, which I normally do when I'm up in Syracuse. We're back in New York this week, and very excited to be here. And we have a great Red Talks tonight. You know, we do Red Talks every Tuesday night at 6:30, and we have a great episode tonight with our interns from Western Carolina. Which were an integral part of our season last year. But back to New York City, you know, I've been here now for about 2 weeks, and it's great to see New York City sort of rebound, because I know that we've had some tough times here in the city. But people are doing really well here. They're wearing their masks. They're sort of taking this very seriously, because obviously New York City was hit harder than any other place in the country. And people are dining outside. They're walking around. The weather's been beautiful, and it's just great to see New York sort of be alive. And we're hoping to do some other things. You know, we've got some other things in the works. We've got some virtual Christmas stuff that's going to happen, and we're going to a lot more information is going to come out real soon. So go to the redhouse.org, where you'll see a lot more information about what we've got coming up, and also just you know, because we're working every single day to try to figure out what kind of program we can do. And we're going to do it. I promise you, we're going to start bringing stuff back as soon as we're allowed to by the state of New York. And also, please help support us. You know, we still need your help. We had a big fundraiser, which we did recently, but we still need your help. And you can donate at theredhouse.org. That's right, donate at theredhouse.org. And no donation is too small. So please help if you can, so we can continue to do great programming. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce some of our interns, actually, that were here with us last year. And you know, when this whole thing first started, I was directing a production of Beauty and the Beast at Western Carolina University, which is a beautiful campus in North Carolina. And I went down there and spent, I think when you direct a college show, you're there for like 8 weeks. It felt like 8 weeks. It was nice to sort of be in a really great campus and great weather. But I got to meet a really great cast, and we started talking about possibly doing some internships at Red House. And there was 2 students we thought we'd bring to Syracuse to be a part of our shows, and also to work at the theater and sort of learn what it's like to be around a professional theater. And if you saw Rent, if you saw Christmas Carol, you would have seen Ryan Albinus and Adrian Beck, who were both part of those productions. And you'll probably recognize both of them when we bring them on. But the internship programs, I think, are very, very vital and important, because it helps young people sort of know what it's like to be in a professional environment. So to sort of know, you know, to get the ins and outs of professional theater, and also get them sort of professional experience. And they got to perform, they got to paint, they got to work in the box office, they got to build sets, they got to do just about everything. And they also, you know, get to sort of experience life outside of the bubble of a university, which just sort of like it sort of you know, it helps you understand sort of the real world and what it's like to sort of do professional theater. And I only wished I would have had that opportunity when I was younger. So without further ado, I want to bring everyone on. So and also Ashley Wasman, who was their professor at Western Carolina, and she's the one I sort of coordinated with and sort of bringing them to Syracuse, and so we can discuss with her what it was like for them to go through the process, and for them to come out back to the school, and sort of you know, how they transition coming from school to here and then coming back. So let's bring them on. So here we go. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Unmute.
There we go.
Yes. So first of all, tell me where you guys are right now.
I am in Waynesville, North Carolina.
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri.
And I'm in Sylva, North Carolina.
Sylva, North Carolina, where they filmed The Fugitive.
And billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
That's right. So I actually went to Fugitive is one of my favorite films, the one with Harrison Ford. And actually, it was the first time my wife and I ever went to a movie together. We went to see The Fugitive. And so there's a huge train wreck, and they didn't have CGI back then. So they actually filmed a real train wreck in Sylva, and part of the train wreck is just still there. I went to see it.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Go
Oh,
ahead,
and
Ashley.
we were thinking about moving here. Anybody who gave us a tour of the area mentioned The Fugitive. So,
Oh, they did.
yeah. Big
Oh,
fan.
So anyway, tell me, let's talk a little bit about. We can even start with Ashley, like how this. Man, I'm trying to think of how it even started. We were. I guess we went to coffee, and we talked about.
That's pretty much it, right? We went to coffee, and yeah, go ahead, or I can jump in if you want.
Yeah, we talked about how we thought we could because we were thinking about starting an internship program at Red House, and then we just went for coffee. I said, maybe let's talk about it, let's chat about it, and then we sort of like chatted over coffee about maybe starting it and bringing some of the students up, and but you guys had never done that before, is that right?
No, we'd never done anything formally like this, and I think what was really exciting about it is. And I know that you mentioned this as well in our conversation, but the opportunity for students, many of the students at our school are from the region, many of them also from rural environments. And so to have the opportunity to do an internship in a less rural area at a professional company was something that I think you and I both knew would just be a wonderful experience for any student that was able to do it.
Yeah. And so Adrian and Ryan, you guys both obviously come from more rural environments than Syracuse. What was it like to transition coming to a city like Syracuse, sort of like an urban setting? I mean, was it, and also like being, because it's right downtown.
Yeah.
The weather is 50 degrees colder. It's a completely different, because that's what I thought about. I'm like, oh, it's not like they're coming from Albany or coming from Pennsylvania, they're coming from North Carolina. And so, like, what was that like?
It was quite cold, certainly. When I came, I had a jacket that was like a little like thicker than like this cardigan. And the first cold day in October, immediately I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna get a real jacket because otherwise I'm gonna actually for real freeze. And it was also really weird. It was odd being able to just kind of walk pretty much wherever I was going, because the theater was within a 10-minute like walk from the lofts, and everywhere else downtown was as well. So
yeah. And Ryan, what was it like, sort of like, what was your impressions of like being a part of a professional theater, like remember.
Yeah.
And so, what is it like now, Ashley? Especially just to go a little bit sort of on topic, but how is it in Western Carolina, sort of teaching with the current state of affairs that's going on in the world? Like, how have you pivoted and transitioned into what you guys do? I know we've talked about a little bit about teaching tap classes and things. And I'm sorry, and were you guys? And we can also include Adrian and Ryan. Were you guys? When did you guys stop classes in the spring? You guys obviously were on campus.
It was.
Did you stop?
It was spring break. It was spring break because we went to spring break and then we never came back to class.
It was the day after I closed Hamlet. It was the next day we got the notice that like school was done.
And did you continue on doing virtual stuff as well? The rest of the semester?
Yeah.
And so what's that like, Ashley, sort of the teaching virtually? And I know you guys are doing some in-house stuff or in-person stuff, correct?
Right. So the very broad answer to the question is, of course, it's challenging. This is obviously challenging to the arts in so many ways, so many unimaginable ways. But the university as a whole, we're holding classes, a combination of in-person, virtual, and hybrid. A lot of our performance-based classes are hybrid. So we're trying to be as face-to-face as much as possible because that's what we need to be doing. But we have a lot of, safety precautions in place. But we have, in the same theater that Beauty and the Beast happened in, Bardo Arts Center, we had 15 of our seniors on stage last week with their singers' masks on, 16 feet apart, having a music rehearsal, everybody facing out forward in staggered doors and windows. So it's a very different world, but we're making it through. As far as production, we've transitioned some things as virtual performances. Right now, we're in the middle of producing a recorded radio drama. And hopefully in the spring, we're going to have some live performances at a couple outdoor venues in the area. So we're doing what we can. I think our restrictions are not as they are up in New York right now, as far as gathering, but it's challenging.
Yeah. And what are you guys doing? I know obviously you've unfortunately gone into a world in which there is no jobs right now. But what are you guys doing just to keep yourself sort of artistically fulfilled? Are you taking classes? Are you doing readings online, or what are you doing right now to sort of help yourself sort of stay keeping yourself as much artistically fulfilled as you can? Ryan, or Adrian?
Okay.
No, please.
Oh, okay. So there are multiple people that will do online shows. So luckily, after school shut down, George Brown had the idea to do Love Labor's Lost online. So we did an online reading of that to finish off the school year. And also, I'll audition for things as they pop up. I just did Sticks and Stones, the musical, with George Salazar, Audra McDonald, and some other people. So that was a really cool opportunity. Sorry, I'm trying to think. And I'm also talking to some friends about doing some creative things online that are very early in their fruition. So, and taking lessons. So it's just, I think, trying to find the things to do to keep ourselves entertained while we can't do it professionally, which sucks, but we got to keep the muscles working. So I'm trying to keep my muscles working.
What about you, Adrian?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, first of all, I'm playing a lot more guitar just to have something artistic I can practice like on my own, because it's frustrating not being able to practice acting without like any variety of context or scene partners. And then I started taking classes with there's a film and TV agency in Asheville that also does a variety of different acting for camera classes and stuff like that. So I took an audition acting for camera class with them, and I'm starting a film script analysis class for them tomorrow. And I also recently signed with the agency, so hopefully I'll be able to start auditioning for some kind of film thing soon.
Okay. I mean, that's the good thing is that there will hopefully, I mean, well, I think that not hopefully, but there will be film and TV stuff that is, they're already starting to go back up. My sister's show, I think she's filming now. So that's good news. That's good news. So there will be jobs for people, especially young people and people with as long of hair as Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
Certainly.
You've been growing it since Beauty and the Beast.
Since Beauty and the Beast, yeah.
Wow, and that'll be coming up in 2 years, right?
Yeah, that'll become
And this March will be 2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think even like Cabaret before that is the last time I cut my hair, so it's been a second.
Wow. And so, what if there's one thing you guys have taken from all this? I know it's been such a crazy time because we never in a million years would have thought something would have happened like this, and to be going on the seventh month already, we're kind of like going, like what is there? Have you taken anything from this that you'll use? Is there something that from this pause that you've learned about yourself or learned about about what it is to be an artist or anything that you I always ask this on Red Talks just to see because I know we rarely in life get up these group pauses. In fact, I don't know if we ever do that. Like everyone pauses together at the same time. Is there anything that you've learned from it that you'll take from it?
Yeah. I've definitely learned a lot of I think patience and being much more comfortable just having to sit with myself for so long. I think especially as performers, it can be really, you can just kind of keep going and you can kind of run yourself ragged that way and you kind of just feel like you're just sprinting along. And so when you're forced to catch your breath for an extended period of time and even a time that would a period of time that would make you generally uncomfortable, I don't know, it's provides a unique kind of perspective that I think is overall quite valuable. I said that I was thinking a few weeks ago, as I've been just meditating and working on just good mental health practices throughout all of this, that a year ago I was at Red House and I was doing this internship, which was amazing. And I think I can probably say without hesitation that Rent was overall just the best show I've been a part of. But I think what I learned mostly throughout quarantine is just the ways in which I can make myself miserable in any situation. And so then just having to be with myself, I'm like, oh, okay, that's now I know these things to be aware of. Otherwise I'll just do them anywhere.
Okay. What about you, Ashley?
Yeah. We've all had a long time to think about this. So what I've been thinking a lot about is, yes, this is a creative or a collaborative art form, but even more so now, I think the only reason or the only way that this industry, this art form is going to move forward and come out of this is by cross-collaborating between artists, companies, organizations. And so I'm really looking forward to that spirit of moving forward together. And also something I've been talking to a couple of my classes and students about. I'm in front of students who every day right now are going, why am I in school for performing arts? They're looking at their industry and their job prospects just disintegrate right now. But we've been trying to talk a lot about how even if this industry is taking a nap or on a pause right now, let's think of it as sort of a rejuvenating nap, a time to reflect upon some of the things that maybe need to change or can be improved or adjusted in the industry. And so when we wake up from this nap, we can really move forward creating a vision that we all share that's in a better shape than it was before. So I think it's a really awesome opportunity to take time to have the conversations that we need to be having in order to create an even better industry for everyone involved, audience, and every single artist that's a part of it, to move forward with a stronger community.
Yeah, I actually think that you guys are, because this is not going to last forever. This is going to be, we're going to get through this, and but you guys are going to be entering into something that I hopefully will be a better industry. An industry that's been we're trying to fix, and I think this has taught us a lot about what we do, and I think so. In a way, you guys are entering into something that's going to be fresh. It's like a blank page, and it's and you guys will be the ones that are going to sort of be the new generation that's going to be part of the new theater industry, which I think is or performing, I guess, theater and TV and film, but you guys are going to be part of that, which is exciting because it's going to come back. I mean, it's going to come back, and you guys are going to be a part of that, which is great. Ryan, what about you?
So I think honestly, the biggest thing that I learned from quarantine is how to talk to people better. There's so many times that me and my grandma will call each other and she'll be like, I got nothing to talk about. Nothing's new. I haven't left the house in 6 months, but we'll still end up on the phone for like 30 minutes. So I think it's finding how to move forward is what it's taught me, and how to be appreciative for what we have and how to fight to get things better. So, like creating our own projects so that we can still exercise our acting muscles or singing muscles or whatever. I think it is a very unique opportunity. I wish it hadn't happened, of course, but I'm glad that I've learned the things from the quarantine that I have, if that makes sense. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's been an interesting 7 months. It's been interesting. But okay, just talk about the internship a bit. Did you guys find yourselves different from the beginning of the internship when you first got there? Obviously, was there a growth to the end in which you felt like what was that like? What was the being there from the, because I thought about that. God, these guys are just, you're coming into something and you're going from classes, and then you're doing something where you're working every single day, and there's no one real job, and then you're going. I mean, there were times when you guys were working the day and then you're doing shows at night. I mean, what was there by the time we got to the end? What was that growth like? What did it feel like? How are you different at the end when we were doing Syracuse Christmas Carol versus when we first started with Rent? Any one of you?
I think I felt generally more just kind of sure-footed, if that makes sense. Like just being like on way more on my own, not around at many people that I know within like any driving distance, really, even. But then and also being in a theater environment, very different than a classroom environment, and being in a city that felt very different from what I was used to. Like arriving there, I think it was just like, it felt like a little shaky, because I was like, no, I'm not quite sure like what all of this is. And then by the time like December rolled around, I could like feel like I watched a lot more, just like kind of comfortable and like ready to, I feel like more apt to just kind of take on new challenges and new things.
Ryan, what about you?
I felt a lot more confident after leaving. Coming in, for Rent rehearsals compared to Christmas Carol rehearsals, even, I feel like I was a totally different being in the room. For Rent, I was nervous to put my foot out there and to like go for things with people, but I learned through the process at Red House that you really just need to be trusting of the people around you. And I think I learned that through the day-to-day stuff. I think I learned it through the rehearsals. It taught me to be a more confident person in my life.
I would think that I remember the first time I did a show with other equity actors, and I was 19. I did this South Pacific with, actually it was with Maren Mazzi and Ann Harada and Christiane Knoll, some future Broadway names, and Rob Marshall choreographed it. So it was like they were all young. Everyone was young and had never done anything. But it was the first time I had performed with like professional actors. And when I was able to do the show, it gave me confidence that I was like, oh, I can do this. I'm not like a weak link here. And I think that was probably, no one ever said, oh, those are the interns. Like no one knew that you guys were any different than our equity actors or our, they didn't see any difference. And I think that was probably a confidence boost, I would think, to think, wow, I can do this with other New York actors and I can hold my own, which you guys both did. I want to talk a little bit about, we talked about Rent, but talk about Syracuse Christmas Carol, which was in essence a new show. It was there was a lot of, we were rewriting and what was that process like? Because I know we ran out of time because we were we were doing a new show, basically. What was that process like? Hey, what's up with you, Adrian?
It was, I mean, from the get-go, it felt very different and very like in an exciting way because it was all new coming to us. And especially coming from school, like you're used to learning music by just like hearing people sing it. And so then to actually just have to like hear the notes played out for you and then see the words and just figure it out the way that, you're supposed to, was definitely very growing. And it was really cool. And it was a really awesome team of people to like work with and kind of rework things and rethink things together with as we went through the whole process.
And what about you, Ryan? Because Ryan, you were part of also the New Works Festival as well.
Yeah.
Next semester, and so that was a brand new play and a brand new musical. What was it like working on something brand new?
I always think when working on I always love working on new projects, but I think that they're very challenging because you go in with no idea of how it's going to end up being set up. Like for Rent, everybody knows what Rent is, so you know what to expect from performances. Even though we did it in the round, like I feel like you'll usually follow the model of the previous casts. But with Syracuse Christmas Carol, I had no idea what was going on. So it's just fun to play with the characters, play with the direction, play with the choreography, and always be willing to try new things during those processes. I love doing them. Super fun.
Yeah. And so, Ashley, what is the future of? I mean, do you think that the internship program is a vital? Do you think it's something that that I know we've talked about this a lot. That not just with Western, but with any school trying to. Because I know that Syracuse University has a thing which they call TEPR. And they send their students the last semester of their senior year to New York City. And it's, I believe it's Ariel Tepper, who's a producer, has a program so then their last semester is spent in New York City, which is a sort of an internship, obviously being in city. But as an educator, how important is that to get the students out to have a professional experience outside the college life?
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think it's vital for any program or any training program that is aiming to truly prepare their student artists to move out into the world. So I think in my position as program director for musical theater at Western, I will forevermore be trying to help bring access for our students to opportunities like the one with Red House, which I know you and I had talked about and we hope to continue moving forward with. But it does take a village, right, to make that happen. We're very fortunate. We have some wonderful arts supporters in our community that are really engaged with Stage and Screen and the College of Fine and Performing Arts. This internship actually, prior to COVID, we had two of our biggest supporters and most engaged supporters commit to some funding to keep this internship going and to get it off the ground. Al and Jan Wilson, who I would be remiss if I didn't mention, our support like that as part of our village, I'm hoping continues, because that's going to allow our students to engage in opportunities like Ryan and Adrian did with Red House. And again, hopefully after the pandemic, we can get fired up again and going, because it really was clearly an amazing experience for both of them. And I've loved interacting with Red House and with you, Hunter, through the process.
Yeah, because, it was a bit of a learning process for me. I mean, because I've never run an internship program, so it was kind of, when we first sat down, Peggy Mitchell, who's the education director here, we sat down at a coffee shop. We were like, oh, it's coffee shops. All the great ideas come up from just but we sat at, so we sat there and we were just trying to map out and just try to figure out, and that's, that's why she wanted you guys to be part of the art rental. And, it's just that we touched on everything, not just performing, but not just building sets, but spending time in the box office and just understanding how marketing and sort of, just sort of understanding how it all works. And so it was interesting. We learned a lot as well. So hopefully if we move forward in doing another internship program, which I know we will, we definitely will do that, that we've learned from this process. This is sort of our pilot program, and we sort of learned a lot from it. So thank you for helping us, for teaching me about how
we're all growing.
We're all growing, and not as long as Ryan's hair, but
no.
Nothing whatever. Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Like I said, I think both you guys have bright futures. We really loved having you. We'd love to have you back at Red House as soon as we're able to do something. So know that you always have a home at Red House. And as soon as we get, New York is a little bit more cautious, obviously, so we're still not able to do anything in the theater at this point. So we're hoping to be able to do that. It's hopefully soon. So anyway, thank you so much. Thanks for giving your talent and your time. And Ashley, thank you for sending them. You have great students. I love working with them. I love working with them in the spring. And it's a great campus and great facilities. And I just love being there. And hopefully we can continue this relationship, moving forward. So thanks so much to my Western Carolina crew, Ryan, Adrian, and Ashley. Thanks so much, and we will talk to you guys soon. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So anyway, I just wanted to thank them so much for being a part of our special Red Talks tonight. The internship programs are so vital, and every theater hopefully can embrace this. We do have some interns at our theater right now, and they're doing a terrific job. And we love having them, and part of what I sort of love as an artistic director is, giving those experiences to people, to young people, so that they can take that and move forward. Because I have to be honest, a lot of things that I learned as a young actor was from my experiences working with people. So it was a great semester that we got to spend with Ryan and Adrian. We thank them so much. So that's all for Red Talks this week. Stay tuned for Red Talks coming up in the next every Tuesday. It's coming up to the end of the year. We got a lot of great stuff that's going to be happening. And stay tuned for some programming stuff that we're going to be talking about. It's going to be on our website. We're going to have some virtual stuff that's going to be coming up hopefully for Christmas, and some great education stuff that's going to be coming up as well. And hopefully we'll have an idea of what's going to happen in the spring, which we still don't know yet, but we will figure it out. Please wear a mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Wash your hands. Do everything you can, because as soon as we can defeat this virus, we can get back in the theater. And please vote. So important, no matter who you vote for. I don't care who you vote for. Just please go vote. It's so important. Okay? Thanks so much. Have a great week, and we will see you next week on Red Talks.